Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here today. I want to look at the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. Now, the New Revised Standard was brought out in 1989. It was a update of the Revised Standard Version of 1952, which had also been updated about 62 and 71 and that type thing, which was an update of the ASV of 1901. Now, the New Revised Standard Version used a lot of what I would call dynamic equivalence, and it was also tried to be deliberately gender neutral. Now, the New Revised Standard agrees about 81% of the time with the 27th edition of the Nestle's Island text. And in the Old Testament, it used the Hebraic Stuttgartensia and also used the Septuagint, of which, whether there is a Septuagint or not, we'll find out maybe one day, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so it's considered a very liberal translation. And it's used mostly by Catholics, by scholars, by people in seminaries, and in mainline denominations, such as the Presbyterian Church USA and the Lutheran Church and the non-evangelical Lutheran Church and that type thing. A lot of times amongst scholars, it's considered to be the go-to Bible translation. So in the New Revised Standard Version, you just have to be very careful, because it did have an agenda, and it was very clear in that agenda, and it was basically to appeal to liberal elements of Christianity. A bad tree can't produce good fruits. Almost all Christians of a conservative or evangelical or fundamentalist stripe rejected the Revised Standard and the American Standard Version of 1901, with very few exceptions. And so it comes from that same tree, even more liberal. So even though you might like some of the translations on some of your go-to verses, look, the Bible is not something that you're just supposed to proof text your way through. But the Bible is taken as a whole. There is a unity of Scripture. And so just because in 2 or 3 instances it may prove your doctrine, well, use it as a supplement. I find it fascinating that even the Revised Standard Version, Arthur Weigel, who kind of headed that up under the National Council of Churches and the Federal Council of Churches, said he didn't want the Revised Standard to take the place of the King James Version and the ASV of 1901, but rather to supplement them. And so, but again, the National Council of Churches, if you study what that was in the 1940s and 50s, so many on there. There's biographies written of the different people. So many of them were communists or communist fellow travelers, sympathizers, and again, they were not for the direct plenary inspiration of Scripture. And so it is with the New Revised Standard. A bad tree is not going to produce good fruit. And most, if not all, of the people who were involved in translating the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible, they did not believe that the Bible was God-breathed and it was 100% without error and infallible. So the New Revised Standard Version, again, it's not real popular on your shelves. If you go to United Methodist Church, you might see it. Cokesbury, Abingdon, you might see New Revised Standard Version. Presbyterian Church USA, Episcopal Church, Congregational churches, United Church of Christ, that type thing. But it's really big in the academic world. And so just be careful with it, because it's not going to lead you 100% into truth. So now, again, if it was the only thing I had, well, that's what I'd be using. But you got things better, primarily in English, the King James Version of the Bible. So God bless you. Love you. New Revised Standard Version.